Good morning. Outside here at the Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts in the Caddell sculpture garden. I have it all to myself right now, so we don't open for another 30 minutes. We are starting backyard botanical art out here today. Hey Enid, good morning. And I'll show y'all, it's a nice little overcast morning, and there's just enough of a breeze. It feels really good. Let me kind of check it out. It's lovely out here right now. It'll be lovely later too. Make sure you come see us today. The sculpture garden is open. There's a nice little ginkgo with some changing leaves. And our galleries inside, we have been reopened inside also. Coming up on 2 weeks, I think. Good morning, Mary Lil. It's a really nice morning right now. Can y'all hear me okay? I'm going to make sure my connection stays good as I walk out here. So if the sound or the picture starts to mess up, just let me know. So today's botanical art from the museum is intended to kind of get a feel for how things look now that fall is here in its own way here in central Alabama. It's a little different here in the south than it might be in other places across the country, right? Here's the abelia that still, even though it's very clearly dying, looks so beautiful to me. It holds such great color as it dries, and the texture is so pretty. And the leaves on the abelia change really nicely. I really love that. There's one that still kind of has its color on the flowers with a little crunch. So what we're going to be doing today is going to be kind of like a printmaking activity, but we'll be using some paint to make the prints with on leaves. So if you didn't get that memo before tuning in today, if you want to go gather some leaves, feel free. I would say if they've fallen, that's good, but you don't want them to be so dry that they are crunchy, because they'll still print, but they are more likely to obviously kind of fall apart while you're trying to print, and we don't want that. All right. Some magnolias back here. Always looking pretty. How's everybody else doing today? Thank y'all for tuning in. I'm going to start making my way back to the studio so we can do some printmaking, make some art. I had intended to do the activity out here today, but since it's so overcast, just to be safe, I wanted to make sure that we didn't get rained on in the middle of our activity. So we're going to be inside in the studio. Get some more art for y'all while we're out here. Some Jamie Grimes. While I'm walking back inside, I will go ahead and also tell you that next Saturday here on Instagram, we have Local Artists Live with Winfred Hawkins. So you want to make sure you tune in for that, and that is from 10 to 10:30 next Saturday morning. There's another ginkgo that's already lost its leaves. I find that all of ours are either in between stages here in the garden. They've either not quite changed colors yet, or they already lost their leaves. All right, Enid said she's picked some leaves. I'm putting my mask on to enter the building just to be safe, and then I'll take it off when we get in the studio because I know I'll be by myself. here we go. If you haven't been back, we've got this really cool African exhibition in Wilson Gallery right here called Authority Figures. Make sure you come in to check that out also. Really, really neat, sculptural, beautiful works. Come see us. We open at 10 today, from 10 to 5 on Saturdays. Tomorrow on Sunday, we are open from 12 to 5. And then next week, as usual, we are open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 5. And I think Thursdays, are we still doing evening hours? It's been so long since I've been around, we've been open. I think we still do evening hours, but I'm not sure. Somebody chime in if they know. I don't want to get in trouble and say that we do. All right, here's my setup. We're definitely open 10 to 5, Tuesday through Saturday. All right, here's my setup. I'm going to be working on black paper. You don't have to work on black. You can do a darker color, a dark blue, a dark green, even an orange might look nice. And I've gathered some leaves from the garden already before we started. I've got an array. I've got some ginkgo in here. And then our Japanese maples were changing really nicely, and I thought those might be fun to print. I haven't printed this shape before. So I like to find leaves that have a really unusual shape for this particular project. But any leaf will work. Like I said, you just don't want it to be too crunchy. You want it to be still kind of fresh, even if it's fallen, so that it will have the texture to hold the paint and also not fall apart while you're pressing it, because we do have to press since we're doing a print. I've got two options for me for putting the paint on. I've got a pretty small paintbrush, which I prefer because I like the control that I get with that. But I did also get out a spongy brayer, and we'll try that out and see how it works. Got a little water. You won't need that for the activity. That's just simply to clean my brush if I need to. And then I'm going to put my paint in here. I'm just going to use white tempera. You don't have to use tempera. You can use acrylic, would work fine also. You just want to make sure that you don't have it on so thick that it's not getting the texture, if that makes sense. Just like when you're doing a print with ink, you don't want the ink to like fill in all of the crevices, because then it just kind of becomes a blob as opposed to a pretty print. Okay, I think that's everything I need to show you. Here's my coffee. Let's take a sip. Okay. And I'll get you on here so we can see the activity. Anybody following along today, let me know. I know Enid is, because she said she got her leaves out. All right. And I'll try to make it where you can see my hands right here. I'll turn on this so I can see. We're at perfect time. That's great. And let's get going. All right. I've got my cheat today, y'all. I finally got a little bit of smarts to me on this, and I'm going to follow along. Turn my volume down so I can watch and I can see what you're seeing. That way we know we're doing well. All right. So I will also be able to see any comments. So if you have any questions or want to say anything, let me know. And I will be tuned into it. Let me see who else I've seen who joined, who I know, who I can say good morning to. Good morning to Gretchen. Thank you for tuning in. And I think I saw my sweet Whitney. Good morning, Whitney. All right. So what I'm gonna do is, I think I'm gonna do the maples, because like I said, I haven't done these before and I really like this shape. So just get your leaves. You don't have to necessarily already know how you're placing them, just, I like to get kind of a variety of sizes. And if there is any variety in shape, I think that's fun too. Play with these a little bit. Hey Meredith Knight, good morning. How are you doing? Happy to see you here. All right. So I've got my leaves and I'm gonna start playing. I'm just gonna move this out of the way. I've got a placemat down just because I'm not the neatest person and printmaking is not very neat anyway, right? And I'm just gonna play with painting it on. Like I said, you wanna make sure that you can get a feel for the texture, but you don't want so much paint that it just kind of becomes a blob. Keep in mind if you are using tempera, how quickly it dries. So we have to paint it kind of quickly. Make sure I get it all the way to the tips here. We're gonna try that one out and see how it goes. Place, and I'm gonna print it over here. When you're printing, you wanna try to flip it and then press. I'm just gonna use my hands. Obviously, if you move it while you are trying to press it down, it's going to make it, it'll mess up the print. So we don't wanna do that. And just making sure I get all of my little leaf parts pressed and then pick it up. That one's kind of fun. I maybe could have used a little bit more paint, but I still love it. I love the shape and the texture it's getting on there. You can reuse leaves. I might be leaf wasteful. I like to switch to a new leaf each time. But it's art, y'all. You have your own process. And the whole point of this today is for us to have some fun. This is a lot different than anything else that we have done for Botanical. Normally we draw, look very closely, take our time. And with this, I kind of wanted to just relax and do something a little bit, not fully mindless, because I'm still having to think about this, right? But I think we could all use a little bit of a break today and this week. So that's what I'm trying to provide for you today. Some relaxation with art. Oh, that one's nice. Let me get that a little closer so you can see that texture. I really like that. Can you see that? It's got the little veins in there. I really love that. Right. This one looks really cool. I like it a lot, so I'm gonna use it next. Anybody aside from, I know Enid's doing this. Enid, I wanna see your product when you're done. I would love to see what you make. And anybody else, you can always email what you've done to us at pr@mmfa.org. You could always message to us here on Instagram, but we always want to see what you're making. All right, another one painted. Very quickly, gonna flip it. I told you we were gonna have fun today. All right, press. Make sure you get every part pressed, just like if you were doing a traditional print. Don't want to miss anything. All right, so Enid is using gesso and says it's working just fine. I imagine that would work really well, actually. That's a great idea. I think I'll try that too, Enid. I'll try out some gesso. All right, these are coming along really well. And so after these dry, I'm gonna color them with some color pencils. I'm gonna use Prismacolors. And I really like to try to make sure my leaves get that little tiny texture in there, because when the paint is dry, you'll be able to see that texture with the color pencil. It'll stick to the dry tempera paint. As usual, I'm making a mess, but I'm having fun. I hope you are too. So basically do as many or as few as you want. If you just want to do one leaf, one big leaf, one small leaf, your choice, your art, right? Have fun. The reason I like to use tempera is because it does dry so fast. And so I don't have to, walk away for the day and come back to be able to add the color pencils. So especially for this activity, with y'all right now, that's really helpful because I'll be able to color it while we're still here in our little hour. All right, that's good. Oh, that guy's cute. All right, I'll do a few more. My ultimate goal for my work of art is going to be, I'm gonna take the color pencils and add kind of like a branch that's connecting them. So I'm trying to place them in a way that they would be kind of clustered on a branch. But again, you're doing your own artwork, so you place them how you want them to be. That's totally up to you. Okay. It's much quieter in the studio at the museum than it is on my actual back porch. For those of you who have tuned in to other botanicals. I should have had some music in the background today. There's no lawnmower or trucks driving by or blower next door. Don't know what to do with myself with all the quiet, y'all. But that's fun. Let's see. I think I'll do 2 more, maybe 3 or 4 more. Pick out my leaves pretty selectively. I want to get another big one, so I'm going to use this one right here. You'll see that. And Scott also has really good texture, this one does, so I think it should print really well, or at least I hope it does. That is the fun trial and error of printmaking. You don't necessarily know what you're going to get. No matter how many times you've printed, and even if you have a printing plate you've used before, you don't necessarily know what you're going to get. And that mystery is exciting. All right, great leaf. Kind of want this one to be the focal point since it's so good looking. So let me think of where I want to put it for my print. I think I want it like front and center down here. like it's real close. After I'm done printing these and letting them dry, I will do a couple ginkgo also, so you can see how well the texture of the ginkgo prints, which is another reason we like to use those for sure. I just wanted to try out these maples this morning for something a little different. Make sure I got everybody printed and pick it up. And that does look pretty cool. It missed a little bit of it, but it also gives the feel for how it is kind of turning. This leaf has some curve to it. I feel like that's shown well there, so that's nice. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think I'll do one more small one right here. So I've got this, I'm kind of visualizing this as a branch is coming up and going away from us. So I kind of want a smaller one to get that feel for distance back here. So I think I'll do this one. The texture on this one is better. I do this little guy. All right. How's everybody else doing? If you're just watching to watch, I hope you're enjoying. I hope you have some music or noise in the background at home. There. That one tore a little bit, but I accept. I like that. Should I do one more there, y'all? I think that feels complete. I think I like that. I'm gonna set that to the side to dry so that I can add the color in a second. And I'm going to show you how the ginkgos print, just because they're so pretty. And we definitely have time. I might even get to do 2 full artworks. Crazy. We're having a fun day. All right, so the ginkgos, again, are just so great to work with this type of project because the texture is just so nice in there. We've got a really good rough, bumpy kind of texture within the leaf. And they also, even though they have, you know, obviously a distinct shape, they do come, you can find some variety within that. Let me see what I found outside. This little guy, he was so cute. I could not pass him up. He was so cute. Whitney, I'm glad you're enjoying. I'm glad you're here. Anybody else who's just joined us, so happy to have you this morning for Botanical. We are doing a fun project today, a little different than what we would normally might do. And we are just enjoying some nature. I picked up some leaves outside that are still kind of fresh. We don't want them crunchy because then they don't, they kind of fall apart when we are printing because you have to press to print. We're just using tempera paints. Enid at home is using some gesso, which she says is working just fine. Cannot wait to see what she makes. All right, let's print this ginkgo. Placing it is the hardest part for me, I think, because I don't want the paint to smear everywhere before I actually am making my print. Yeah, that's so good. And this is why ginkgos are fun for this project, because you can see in here these lines. Make sure you can see that. All the different lines that show through from the leaf texture. It's really nice. So I'll do a few more of those, and then we will add some color on our Japanese maple prints. What's everybody getting into later today? Y'all have any good weekend plans? Hopefully spending some time outside. There we go. I think I'm going to put my little guy over here. Got a little finger smudge there, but I'll live. So cute. Hey Carrie, I see you on here. You doing some printmaking this morning, or can I entice you to do any? Paint some leaves and print them. Hope you're having a good morning. For anybody who missed my announcement when I first started, make sure to tune in next weekend, next Saturday, for Local Artist Live right here on Instagram also. We will be featuring Winfred Hawkins from 10 to 10:30. You don't want to miss that. Liz Ann 822 going to try this later today to calm down. Yes. Yes, that was my thinking behind this activity. Everybody could use a little relaxation today. So that is exactly what I'm going for. I hope it works for you, and I hope you enjoy. Hey Angie, good morning. Join our fun. A little mindless printmaking for Botanical this morning to help us relax. That one turned out nice. All right, I think I'll do maybe 1 or 2 more ginkgos, and then I'm gonna rinse my hands just a little bit. I don't know why. And then I'll go on to adding some color to the dried prints. And again, I'm gonna use some color pencils for that. All right, so I think I want that guy there, and I want this one over here. So I'm gonna kind of plan that accordingly. Oh, I got the lovey heart eyes from Carrie. That makes me happy. Hey Kevin, good morning. Glad you're here. Yes, Angie, same concept, except with paint and a mess. All right, so my last one's gonna go up here. Let me get this one painted. I really want to get that texture on there, so I'm pressing pretty hard. Very nice. All right, so there's my ginkgo. Right now it looks like a slop of paint. And these are my maples. But what we'll do next is we're gonna add some color pencils. But you need to wait long enough for your paint to dry. Don't try to add the color pencils on the wet paint. I'm gonna clean my hands really fast, then I'll come back and do this. This would be a coffee break for everybody else. All right. Clean-ish hands. And I think I'm gonna set my ginkgos aside. And the tempera on these prints should be dry enough to do. Just kind of feeling it out. Again, that is the plus of using tempera for this activity because it does dry so quickly. And I'm gonna try to zoom in just a little bit so you guys can see well. Make sure I can get it. Angle that right. Down. I think that should be good. There we go. All right, y'all let me know if you can see that okay. And I'm going to just play with some fun colors. I've got a whole bunch of different Prismacolors that I'm gonna play with. And I find Oranges look really nice, blues and reds. Just kind of fill it out. Obviously use the colors you want to use. That one is dry. And so just really softly, I'm just going to come and lightly color on it. Because again, I'm trying to pick up the texture. So I don't want to overpower what I've done, and I also don't want to color the black paper or whatever color you used in the background. I want to make sure that the paint is what's grabbing the color, not the background. So it's really subtle right now on the camera I'm seeing, but it looks really sharp in person. I'll try to find a different color. Maybe I'll blend that into a red. This is the part of the activity that is a little bit more mindless. Let your brain kind of relax. Kind of like those adult coloring books. Because you do want to color in the right place, but you don't necessarily have to think too hard about what you're doing. Let's relax. How many times can I say the word relax today? I think that if I keep saying it enough, I will relax. Kind of like repeating a mantra. Relax, relax. A little yellow at the top of that. I hope y'all are seeing that well. I don't want it to be blurry. Is that blurry for y'all, or are you seeing it okay? I see Amy's joined us. Good morning, Amy. I really want to give this one, like I said earlier, that look that it is kind of twisting away from us, turning away like the leaf was. So I'm going to do that with color and use a little bit of a darker orange back there. And then let that go to a red again. Thank you for the affirmation, Whitney. Looks good, okay. Glad you can see it. I'm liking this color theme with these warm colors, so I'm gonna stick with this for this particular leaf, and then I might switch it up to a blue and some greens maybe for another. Some cooler colors. Again, I don't want to color the paper, I just want the paint to pick it up. So I am really lightly coloring, barely touching the pencil to where it's getting the color, where it's grabbing onto that dried tempera paint. I would love to see any color choices you're making different than me. For anybody who missed my plea, I want to see your art. Please send it to us. You can email images to pr@mmfa.org, or you can also always just message us on here when you finish the activity. We would love to see what you do. All right, that one is done. I'm gonna move it. Let's see, get this little guy over here. Make sure y'all can see that okay. I think I like the lighter and brighter colors better. The way that the white picks it up and then against that darker background. But I think that's also an individual preference. You use the colors you want to use. Okay, moving along. I'm gonna go back to this guy here and stick with the same concepts I was doing with this leaf with the warmer colors, but maybe do some more reds and pinks, less of the orange. And I'll just say one more time, the big trick here is to make sure you are really using the Prismacolors lightly as you color or add the color on there, because you want the texture that the leaf made, so the paint, to pick it up, but you don't necessarily want to color over that black background or whatever background you chose. You want that to kind of still show through, if that makes sense. a little bit of yellow, just for some fun here on the edges of this leaf. That's always the fun thing with Prismacolors though, they blend so well. I can't pass up the opportunity to play with blending a little bit. Let's see how they mix in. That's nice. All right, let's see. Let's move it. Over this guy up here. Same process. We're just gonna keep having some fun, keep coloring. Use some different colors that I haven't used yet. Some good deeper blues and kind of turquoisey colors maybe. Maybe not a dark blue, but just a little different. While I'm coloring, I'll get a couple more plugs in. As I said earlier, we are open today. Sculpture Garden is open here at the Montgomery Museum of Fine Arts and indoor galleries from 10, which is already passed. So we are officially open at this moment until 5 this afternoon. And tomorrow on Sunday, we are open from 12 to 5. Please come see us. We have a really cool exhibition that has just opened, Blow Up 2, which I assure you, you've never seen anything like it here before. It's pretty cool. And it also it's fun. Same kind of concept with this project today. Help us just relax and let our minds go for a minute. Next weekend, Winfred Hawkins is our featured artist for Local Artists Live. You don't want to miss him. So tune in here on Instagram at 10 next Saturday, November 14th. This one has some really great texture. I'm liking how the paint is picking up the color, especially when I overlap the green on the blue. Play with your color. You'll be pleasantly surprised. All right, do this guy next. I think what's happening, I'm thinking that y'all aren't seeing it well, but it might just be the fluorescent lights in the studio reflecting that white so strongly. I hope you're getting a good feel for what this looks like, because the color just grabs on to that paint so nicely. Enid, how's your printing going with your gesso? I know it printed well with the gesso, but the gesso might take a little longer to dry. Are you able to color yet? Or are you just kind of chilling and maybe you'll color it later? Be very curious to know how that gesso is doing. And is anybody else? Somebody else said that they were going to do this project later, try it out to relax later today. Anybody else trying it out right now? I'd love to know how it's going for you. We've got about 7 minutes left. I think I should be able to finish these up. I'm getting a little bit, maybe too into it. I'm letting myself relax. I'm enjoying what I'm doing. Oh, good, Enid. I'm so glad. I'm glad it's working so well. Working on blue and orange paper. How cool. I cannot wait to see that. Okay, let me get some red right here. Make sure we can see that one. Let's bring it home, Laura. And of course, an additional idea if you want, like I said earlier, you only have to do one leaf. You know, you don't have to do a full design, but you can also use the colored pencils to embellish on the paper if you like, directly. Add like a pattern around the border. Like I said, I might make like a little bit of a branch between my leaves to make them kind of connect. But get creative, have fun with it. This color is a little bit more true to what these leaves look like when they're changing color. And that's okay, you know, that you didn't have the black paper. I mean, I think that any color, as long as you're printing with something, you know, with the white on top of it, to grab the color of the colored pencils, then I'm sure those colorful papers work just the same. All right. Let's switch it up. Let's move down to this guy. My last leaf. Try to finish up in time. If it cuts me off, I'm so thankful for everybody who tuned in today. I hope you had a good time. If you try it later, I hope it goes well. If you're doing it now, I hope you're enjoying it. And the next Botanical will be in December, December 5th. I'll be doing one called Holidays and Horticulture. We'll be painting a poinsettia and kind of talking about the history of poinsettias. Poinsettias are really interesting. That is why I chose that particular plant. So tune in for that, December 5th, 9:30 to 10:30, same place as always here on Instagram. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. If you've just tuned in, we will have this recording up later on our Instagram. You can also catch it on our website, mmfa.org. And really, if you want to see about any of our programming or events upcoming, go to our website, check out the program calendar. That's mmfa.org. That color is too dark. Switch over to this purple. I like that purple. I hope everybody has a great day and a great weekend. Thank you for being here. I'm finishing this up and I'll try to get a full view so you can see it. Whitney, thank you for being here. All right. Quick little sketch with this color. Let's zoom back out. Choop. Might complete that part better later, but my branch. All right, y'all, I hope you had fun. Thank you so much for being here. See you next time. Have a great weekend.